Umbwe Route Itinerary. This is an Umbwe Route itinerary by Tranquil Kilimanjaro. Umbwe can be done in days. So here is the itinerary. Arrival day. When you arrive at the airport, you will be met by your guide. We will drive you to your hotel in Moshi or Arusha. Thereafter, we will brief you about your trip. After a short equipment and gear check, we will leave you to rest before your next day adventure to Africa's highest mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro. Day 1, Umbwe Gate to Umbwe Camp. Elevation 5,249 feet to 905 time, 5 to 7 hours. Distance 11 kilometers or 7 miles. Habitat Heath. The day begins with a 50-minute drive to Mweka Gate, where registration formalities will be completed. We then transfer through villages and coffee and banana plantations to Umbwe Gate. The trail ascends sharply on a forestry track which winds up the dense rainforest. The path narrows and steepens as we climb the ridge between two rivers, surrounded by huge trees. Umbwe Camp is perched between trees and thick undergrowth. Day 2, Umbwe Camp to Barranco Camp. Elevation 9,514 feet to 13,044 feet. Hiking time 4 to 5 hours. Distance 6 kilometers or 4 miles. Habitat Heath. The second day of the trek follows rockier terrain with sparse undergrowth and straggly, moss-covered trees. As we gain elevation, glimpses of Kilimanjaro can be seen. The path flattens as we approach Barranco Valley. From Umbwe Ridge, the route descends to Barranco Camp through the strange but beautiful Senecio Forest. Day 3, Barranco Camp to Karanga Camp. Elevation 13,044 feet to 13,106 feet. Hiking time 4 to 5 hours. Distance 5 kilometers or 3 miles. Habitat Alpine Desert. We begin the day by descending into a ravine to the base of the Great Barranco Wall. Then we climb the non-technical but steep, nearly 900-foot cliff. From the top of the Barranco Wall, we cross a series of hills and valleys until we descend sharply into Karanga Valley. One more steep climb up leads us to Karanga Camp. This is a shorter day meant for acclimatization. Day 4, Karanga Camp to Barafu Camp. Elevation 1,106 feet to 15,331 feet. Hiking time 4 to 5 hours. Distance 4 kilometers or 2 miles. Habitat Alpine Desert. We leave Karanga and hit the junction which connects with the Mweka Trail. We continue up to the rocky section to Barafu Hut. At this point, you have completed the southern circuit, which offers views of the summit from many different angles. Here we make camp, rest, and enjoy an early dinner to prepare for the summit day. The two peaks of Mwenzi and Kibo are viewable from this position. Day 5 is summit day hike from Barafu Camp to Uhuru Peak to Mweka Camp. Barafu Camp to Uhuru Peak. Elevation 15,331 feet to 19,341 feet. Hiking time 7 to 8 hours. Uhuru Peak to Mweka Camp. Elevation 19,341 feet to 10,065 feet. Hiking time 4 to 6 hours. Distance 5 kilometers or 3 miles. Habitat Arctic. Very early in the morning, around midnight, we begin our push to the summit. This is the most mentally and physically challenging portion of the trek. The wind and cold at this elevation and time of day can be extreme. We ascend in the darkness for several hours while taking frequent, but short, breaks. Near Stellar Point, 18,900 feet, you will be rewarded with the most magnificent sunrise you are ever likely to see coming over Mwenzi Peak. Finally, we arrive at Uhuru Peak, the highest point on Mount Kilimanjaro and the continent of Africa. From the summit, we now make our descent continuing straight down to the Mweka hut campsite, stopping at Barafu for lunch. The trail is very rocky and can be quite hard on the knees. Trekking poles are helpful. Mweka camp is situated in the upper forest and mist or rain can be expected in the late afternoon. Later in the evening we enjoy our last dinner on the mountain and a well-earned sleep. Day 6. Mweka camp to Mweka gate. Distance 12 kilometers or 7 miles habitat. Rainforest. Elevation 10,065 feet to 5,380 feet hiking time, 3 to 4 hours. Distance 10 kilometers or 6 miles habitat. Rainforest. On our last day, we continue the descent to Mweka gate and collect the summit certificates. At lower elevations, it can be wet and muddy. From the gate, we continue another hour to Mweka village. A vehicle will meet us at Mweka village to drive us back to the hotel in Moshi. Departure day. After your worthwhile climb, we will pick you at your hotel and transport you to the airport, where we will bid you farewell, or alternatively, we can take you on a nice safari. Zanzibar beach getaway or both to wind up your trip.